Yes, we start off with the Guardian newspapers, and it says Southwest 39 dams moribund over poor maintenance, obsolete equipment. That's how the Guardian newspaper puts its headline. And still staying with the Guardian protest, we are sitting on a time bomb. Sule tells northern governors. Sule is the governor of Nasarawa State. We can no longer afford further hikes in interest rates. Nigeria records 13th consecutive monthly economic contraction, says CBN. That's Nigeria records 13th consecutive monthly economic contraction, says CBN. Serving senators earn 21 million naira monthly. I got 13 million naira. That's according to Shehu Sani. And still staying with the Guardian newspaper, Abbas bows to pressure, withdraws counter-subversive. Auto flags off construction of 365-kilometer Calabar-Obudu rail line. Federal government won't abandon displaced persons, Shettima tells UN. And also still staying with the Guardian newspaper, WHO declares Mpox outbreak a global health day celebration. ONI inaugurates foundation to tackle truancy out of school syndrome. So from the Guardian newspaper, we move on to the Sun newspapers, and the Sun leads with this headline: INEC charges security agents to be ruthless during election. And Abbas withdraws counter-subversion bill after Daily Sun's report. Ukraine advances deeper into Russia. And Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea to sign agreements on petroleum resources and security. Those are some of the headlines on the front page of the Sun newspaper. Still staying with the Sun newspaper, customs issue comprehensive guidelines for zero import duty on food items. Many Lagosians earn less than 100,000 naira monthly, survey shows. An ICPC exposes 22,000 suspicious workers in MDAs. Health insurance, national enrollment swells by 1% in less than 1 year. And to the Punch newspaper, we move on to food crisis. Military deploys troops in north central farms. Finland assures Nigeria of collaboration on Simon Ekpa. Bakers protest hike in flour price despite FG waiver. 63 illegal refineries seized in 1 week. This is according to the NNPC. Kanu, Chief of Staff, denies FG's rice diversion. Price skyrocket as petrol scarcity bites harder. And still staying with the Punch newspaper, power tariff, ASU demands reversal, varsity bills jump by 300%. Motorists lament traffic snarl as Julius Berger resumes work on Long Bridge. This drop for 13th month in July, CBN. industry. Next now, we won't abandon displaced persons, Shetima. And why I signed Daikon Act withdraws counter-subversion bill. And yes, just like in other people's, President Tinubu arrives at Equatorial Guinea for a 3-day official visit. Oil gas sector to assess locally assembled pumps valves soon. That's good news. Oyo commences recruitment of 3,000 health workers to boost PHC, that's primary health care. Cancer deaths among men expected to rise by 94% worldwide by 2050. That's according to a study carried out in that sector. Biosafety, why stakeholders want Okay, the Nation newspaper is our next stop now. Waiver food importers must sell 75% at approved market. NSA warns against disruption of Edo-Ondo polls. Probe calls for change of government. Afenifere, others urge federal government. Security needs 300 minister. My criticism of Tinubu's policy in good faith, says Bauchi governor. Well, those are the headlines in some of the return. Our guests will attempt to give us some insight into the details of the stories. It's still newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM, Abuja. Please don't go away. The program will return in a moment.
Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM.
To brightly glow, here is what to do. Women's Corner is waiting just for you.
Education, work, lifestyle, career, mentorship, and family too.
We will tackle the issues, provide solutions, and see you through. Finding your voice, reaching high, and making an impact. Women's Corner, where knowledge can fly.
Join us every Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. for inspiring stories and practical advice to reach all your glories.
It's Women's Corner on Citizen 93.7 FM, Abuja.
Woman don't suffer, lower everybody.
A member nation of the International Civil Defense Organization.
We dey operate as volunteers. We dey go from places to places, carrying our functions voluntarily.
You miss out on the news during the week? Not to worry. A retrospect is here to make up for the missed information. Esther Musu on the program Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja every Sunday at 6 p.m. Retrospect. We keep you informed.
The issues.
Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Theory behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant retire without a roof over his head.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country. Goodship cannot be divulged from those who cause the crime. Honestly.
The passion.
You must have national spread. So where is it?
Why are you so concerned about that?
He said money was.
I never.
No.
Miss Lawrence Umoite.
There is always an opportunity.
Tomorrow Insight returns with another interesting
Insight with
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7.
To the second half of the show, newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. And as usual, this is where we look at some of the headlines in details. But first, let me unveil my guest. He is a very senior member of the media community, Mr. Abdulwaris Sholanke. Thank you so much, sir, for being part of the show today.
It's a pleasure. We're all in the service of the nation as citizens of good citizens of Nigeria.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Abdulwaris Sholanke will help us make sense of some of the headlines as we go along. So let's start with the headline on the front page of the Sun newspaper. INEC charges security agents to be ruthless during election. Ahead of the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu, has given a marching order to security agents on election duty to be ruthless with real and potential threats to the polls. In his remarks at an emergency meeting of Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security yesterday in Abuja, he urged party leaders and campaign spokespersons to tone down their negative rhetorics.
Mr. On the coming election, over the year, you understand, you see, some segments of the Nigerian population, especially the political class, they see election as war. Election is taken as war. It is a do or die affair. The interesting thing about election is it's about choice. So if some people now want to impose their will on the generality of the citizens, understand, the tendency is to disrupt the electoral process. They want to hijack boxes when they know that their own candidate may not be the popular candidate or the candidate of choice. They want to hijack the electoral process. So, and the citizen is powerless. Who comes to salvage the citizens when their will not count? Definitely you have to employ the services of the military, the security agencies. They are the only one that has the apparatus to contain any attempt to disrupt election, any attempt to hijack the electoral process. So Professor Mahmood is right in giving them the directive. It's a bulwark. The military are now serving as a bulwark of democracy to strengthen our democratic process. So every effort must be made to contain any attempt to disrupt election in any part of the country, whether Edo, whether Ondo, or in any election. The military have the responsibility to ensure that the election is not disrupted.
But Mr. Sholanke, isn't it a shame that how many years now into the Fourth Republic we still require the services of the military when we want to conduct election? This is basically a civil operation where we have the police to take care of. Must we always drag in the military? The military is overstretched already in almost 34 states, taking care of some very volatile areas. Why do we have, and this is just off-cycle election, 2 states, and we're already dragging in the military?
what option do we have when some people, some segments, they do not want to imbibe what is called a democratic culture? Democracy thrives in only a peaceful environment. Any country that wants to be secured must first be peaceful. So if you are compromising election by making it not peaceful, what option does the nation have? You see, it is unfortunate that things that have to be part of our culture, something that has to be behavioral to evolve over time, we are yet to acculturate in a way that things go smoothly. Is it only the democracy that people do not want to make it a normal culture? Election should be a normal culture. Election should be a process that we should see as a festival. Election should be conducted, but when some people only see things in terms of bullets, blood, and tears, what do you confront it with? Ideally, election is a celebration. It is something that we should come out to make it like a carnival, that we should come out to eat and celebrate among ourselves. It should be free, but when some people, the stake for them is so high, they don't want to compromise anything. They don't believe in compromise. They don't believe in peace. They don't believe in normal process. So a reasonable nation must have an apparatus to contain such tendencies. So it's unfortunate that we are inviting the military, because when election is not free and fair, it has security implications. When people are not allowed to vote their choice, because some people just want to hijack, they want their will to prevail, you can't have peace in the country. So it is the responsibility of the military to ensure that peace, security of the country is not compromised in any way. So we should see it beyond election. We should see it as a security issue.
Well, another arm of government that is also unnecessarily tracked into this matter, Mr. Solanke, is the judiciary. Naturally, ordinarily, the judiciary should just be there maybe to intervene the final outcome of election and when there are disputes or disagreement. But over the years, even before primaries start, a lot of litigation. Before primaries, during primaries, after primaries, before election, and after election, and so many. Now, currently now, the election has not even held. You have like 2 or 3 different candidates who are claiming to be candidates of different political parties, and all of them are bombarding the courts, dragging INEC as they go to different courts on who is candidate. When will the political class learn to operate within the rules of the game, especially their own rules?
I have come to see politics is essentially public service. So if you see it as something to profiteer, you stake everything. That is what everybody is doing. Those in the political class, because majority is unfortunate. I think we were discussing this line of thought the other time. If you have a situation where the right caliber of people are not populating the political space, I regret to use the word again, riffraffs. It's unfortunate. Somebody that is civilized will not go all out to fight needless war, will not want to be winner takes all, will give room for negotiation, you give room for compromise, you give room for collaboration, understand? You give room for cooperation. Members of the political class need some essence to imbibe the culture of collaboration. If this is your position on this issue, what can we gain between ourselves? And so, if we are not developing the spirit of compromise, people will always want to exploit, go to the last extent. Our political class must imbibe the culture of compromise. They must imbibe the culture of negotiation. They must imbibe the culture of cooperation. You are aspiring to lead. Do you have everything that it takes to lead? And if there's somebody that is better than you, why don't you give him the chance? Why don't you examine what can I take from this one? How can we sit together to see how we can cooperate? You want to serve the public, you want to serve the nation, and you have made it. It means you want to impose yourself, even if the populace do not want you, if the electorate do not want you, you want to force yourself. So basically what members of the political class, in the way they conduct themselves, is to force themselves on the electorate.
All right. You can join the discussion. Call us on 0903 2229 797. You can also call us on 0818 2222 205 or 0818 2222 206. It's still newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Mr. Shalonga, let's move on to let's look at the story in the Sun newspaper. Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea to sign agreements on security agreement during his ongoing 3-day official visit to Equatorial Guinea. President Tinubu arrived at the presidential wing of the Malabo International Airport. Yesterday was received by Prime Minister of the country. The visit is on the invitation of the president. The president will later sign a historic visitors book, after which a press conference would be made available following a dinner to close the day among those accompanying the president. So this is another move by the president to maybe encourage foreign investment and also sign some agreement, especially on areas of security.
Share littoral territory.
Yes. And they have a long history.
Yeah. What you must realize about Equatorial Guinea is the fact that a lot of Nigerians have huge investments in that part of the world, in that part of Africa. Understand? So it is a process to consolidate relationship, and that is what we have been talking about Africa. Partnership between African countries must be what are the things Nigeria has, and what are the things that comparative advantages we can share between ourselves. So I commend the president for taking the initiative, because it is in our collective interest to deepen partnership, to deepen relationship between one country and the other. If you deepen partnership with a country with like Equatorial Guinea, and there are resources, there are lessons to tap from each other, there are resources to share, there are things to benefit from one another. So it's just to optimize the opportunities that Equatorial Guinea has. And we always say Nigeria is the big brother. I remember that one of the big politicians in Nigeria, there was a time he actually has a university in Equatorial Guinea. What it means is Nigeria can invest in such countries to empower Nigerians as well. So I think it's a win-win for us when we deepen partnership with, when we say partnership, that is partnership for development with our African brothers. Understand? It's a win-win for us.
All right, thank you so much. Before we leave the Sun newspaper, let's look at this story, Mr. Shalanke. Customs issue comprehensive guidelines for zero import duty on food items, and to alleviate the rising cost of essential commodities and ensure food security across the nation, the Nigerian Customs Service has released a comprehensive set of guidelines for the implementation of zero import duties on food items. This initiative is part of a broader strategy by the federal government to combat inflation, accessible food supply chain. Mr. Shalanke.
A sensitive government will always enunciate or implement policies, guidelines that are necessary. You understand? We cannot say because we want food to come into the country to solve a short-term problem, to compromise the future of the country. Remember that those items that we want to bring into the country in the short term, there is also an industry to be developed in Nigeria to boost our economy. When we open our doors, our borders for everything to come in, I see it as a short-term measure. Usually, it is the other economies that you are developing when your door is open that you want to solve a short-term problem, and they come, and so that it doesn't become a culture for us that everything can come in cheaply and freely. There must be some protection for the local economy, for the local industry, so that people don't hang on the fact that this thing can be easily imported because the duty on it is zero. Then it will become a disincentive for the local economy, the local industry. Understand? So that is the way I see why such guidelines are necessary, so that while trying to solve a short-term problem, you do not compromise the future of the nation.
All right, I think that's best put in a very great perspective. You can still join the discussion. Call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818-2222-206. Mr. Lange, let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Still talking about food. Food crisis, military deploys troops in Northwest, North Central farms. And we have this story here. The Defense Headquarters says troops have been deployed across farms in the northern part of the country, especially in the Northwest and North Central. According to the Military High Command, the deployment was to ensure the adequate protection of farmers from bandits, terrorists, and other criminal elements. The Punch newspaper reports that farmers have been a major target for bandits and terrorists who levied them indiscriminately, destroyed their produce, kidnapped, and even killed them in some instances.
We were just discussing about bringing the military into so many areas of life, understand? And we know that once anything becomes a security issue, everything must be done to ensure that it does not escalate beyond the capacity of the nation. But this bandit something, it is no longer what the police alone can handle. These are people that, when you see the sophistication of the weapons they go about, in displacing farmers, in cattle rustling, you wonder, where are these things coming from? And so, what do you use to confront it when the security of the nation is at stake? Food is an essential component of security. Mm-hmm. Once it is compromised in the nation, there's going to be crisis in the land. Mm-hmm. And so, the protest that we witnessed recently, food is part of it. Mm. Food is part of the... So, anything that is serious, drastic measures must be used to contain or to attend to it. Mm. So, I'm really, really, really in support of measures to contain the bandits, measures to contain the cattle rustlers, measures to contain the dastard acts that are going on in several parts of the country to discourage people from, because what farmers are doing when they produce in large quantity, it is like military itself. It's a national duty, national assignment, national obligation. Once we had food in large supply, our dependence on importation is going to be zero. So everything must be done to ensure that food is secure, that we have food security, and that the primary part of it is protecting those who are in the industry, those who are on the farms, those who are investing their lives, their means, everything to ensure that food is in large supply in the country. So we must commend the military for taking the initiative to deploy. They know the areas that these things are rampant. So it is right. It is like a war matter. You must deploy forces to contain any aggression. Those people that have invading the farms, it is like it is an aggression on the Nigerian state, and the military must do everything to contain the aggression.
All right. Still staying with the Punch newspaper, 63 illegal refineries seized in 1 week. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has disclosed that another 63 illegal refineries were discovered and confiscated in the past 1 week. It was revealed in a documentary that the fight against oil theft was yielding results. According to the NNPCL, about 177 incidents were recorded between August 3rd and 9th by different incident sources. It noted that during the week under review, 19 illegal pipeline connections were recovered, while some underwent repairs across several locations in Bayelsa and Rivers State. Mr. Solanke, this is another security issue, another national security issue.
Everything, security is central to the survival of Nigeria. We have Nigerians that are some cabals not superintending all kinds of measures. They become worse than foreign invaders. When you have the local people at home being more dastard than foreign invaders, what do we have? What option do we have? So the effort to contain these illegal refineries, it will make it easy for us to actually know where our oil resources are going. Most of the pipeline vendors, you cannot track what they make. And such vandals, it is not only just talking about oil. So many areas of our national life are compromised because it's like money laundering. It's like all other crimes. It's a crime against the state. It's economic crime. It is like, I will say you can equate it to treason. You understand? Because when anybody engages in anything that compromises the health of the nation, understand, the economy of the nation, what they are into is to bring the country down. They are cabals. They are people who sometimes the resources in their hands are actually more than the resources in the state. So what do? Those are the kind of people you can call the enemies of the state. If such people with the wealth, where they derive from illegal sources through pipeline vandalization, some of them they now use it to buy people, and some of them can get into the electoral process and win election. When such people people who use illegal wealth to rise to power, you can imagine what the nation becomes. So every effort must be used to contain those who are going to be compromising the economy of the nation, the health of the nation, the integrity of the nation. It's let's commend the NNPC for at least discovering these people, because those behind it, a lot of damage is being done to the nation.
All right. Staying with the Punch newspaper, there's this story: power tariff. ASU demands reversal. Varsity bills jump by 300%. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has cried out against the huge power bills paid by universities in the country, estimated at 275 billion naira monthly, following the recent increase in electricity tariff. The national president of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Sadike, called for 0.4 billion naira monthly. In 2024, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission announced an increase in electricity tariff paid by Band A customers. The universities are under Band A, where customers enjoy electricity for at least 20 hours daily. However, many of the universities have cried out over the soaring electricity bill following the new policy.
Now, I cannot talk about subsidy. Yeah. You see, this is the educational system is one of the areas that the government has the responsibility to bring ease. We know that the cost of education is so weighty. For such system to actually be normalized, electricity to higher institutions is one of the areas that must be subsidized. So I want to advocate that electricity should be subsidized in the universities, because what they are doing in many universities is not really commercial. It's not about commercial. It's not about profit making. So the government has a responsibility now that we cannot begin to interrogate what areas of our economy should be subsidized. If the cost of electricity is so unbearable on the universities, you can now cascade on what charges the students are forced to pay. What fees? Because they will spread the increase on the fees the students are to pay. So we can now begin to interrogate where do we actually need subsidy. And so I want to advocate that when we talk about subsidy, we should take subsidy beyond petroleum subsidy. There are critical areas of the economy that government has the responsibility to ensure that the services are provided with consideration for the citizens. So, electricity needs to be subsidized in the higher institutions.
All right, it's still Newspaper Review on Citizen 93.7 FM. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, the concluding part.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM. Abuja. Wake up. Reach out.
The issues.
Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Theory behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant retired without a roof over his head.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country. Goose cannot be divulged from those who cause the crime. Honestly.
The passion.
You must have national spread. So where is it?
Why are you so concerned about that?
He said money was.
I never.
No. The platform is always the same. It's always an opportunity.
Tomorrow Inside
7 FM Abuja. Be part of the experience.
Need a lift? Feeling low, bored, or confused?
Wants your dream to brightly glow?
Here is what to do.
Women's Corner is waiting just for you.
Education, work, lifestyle, career, mentorship, and family too.
We will tackle the issues, provide solutions, and see you through. Finding your voice, reaching high
at 1 p.m. for inspiring stories.
93.7 FM.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak up. Station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM.
in Abuja. Well, we can still accommodate a few calls. You can call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 818-2222-206. And you can also send us a WhatsApp message. We will be glad to read your message. Mr. Sholanke, thank you so much, sir, for staying tuned.
It's a pleasure.
All right, let's look at the story in the Tribune. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday explained that his passion to see the speedy growth of the nation's Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria and Nigeria's military-industrial complex motivated him to sign the DICON Act of 2023 into law within his first 6 months in office. Speaking in Abuja at the 60th anniversary of DICON and the inaugural African Defense Industries Conference, the most significant market potential in Africa, and has been repositioned to leverage the vast potential of the private sector to pursue innovations and technologies.
But don't forget that the fact that defense complex, you understand? So signing that bill or the act, it's something that is gladdening, you understand? Because it is not just about security; it's also about economy. If we are able to produce arms, we can also export, because security is a big deal all over the world. So if Nigeria is now contributing its own quota in global defense, in global security, global economy through with the instrumentality of DICOM, it's a big win for us. Understand? So it is also of economic advantage that we should tap into our defense infrastructure, the technological, because it involves a lot of technology. That's a technology-based industry, and so what it also means is going to our economy, the Nigerian economy, that our defense industry is contributing to employment, is contributing to productivity, is contributing to raising the economic level of the country, and is also increasing our influence in Africa. If you're able to do that, if we tap into it so much, that is what some countries are leveraging on to show their strength. So it's a source of power to Nigeria too. It's a source of global influence for Nigeria too, that its military-industrial complex is developed, and so it's a commendable move.
All right, still staying with the Tribune newspaper, we won't abandon displaced persons, Shettima. Vice President Kashim Shettima on Wednesday assured donor organizations and development partners that the present administration will fully support initiatives aimed at alleviating the sufferings of persons displaced by conflict and natural disasters within and outside Nigeria's borders. He gave the assurance when he received a delegation from the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee who visited him in Abuja. Commending the UN for its assistance to Nigeria over the years, Vice President Shettima said he knows that how vital the UN system is, and that is it. But the long and short of it is the commitment by the federal government not to abandon displaced persons.
Well, it is not. I want to say that it is not just by words of mouth. It must be demonstrable. You see, we want to see this displaced person being reintegrated into the larger society, into the larger economy, because if the practical efforts are not made to integrate them by introducing measures and policies that is going to guarantee employment for them, that is going to ensure that they live normal life, it's just going to be polemics or promises. We want to see action. We want to see demonstrable commitment in terms of practical measures that the government put in place to ensure that these people are reintegrated into the economy. Because when you say internal displaced person, what you normally see is just to put them in a place, give them food. Their needs are beyond food. They need to become normal persons. They need to live in normal society. They need to become part of those who are contributing to the economy. It is not just to keep them somewhere, build houses for them somewhere and employ some people to be cooking food for them. No, it's beyond that. It is what are the concrete measures to actually return them to normal life, that they live normal life, they pursue their own economic goals, and they feel fulfilled. So we want to see that whatever government is doing, it is not just promises. It is not just to be taken as humanitarian, something that you build houses for them, create. No, we want to see what government will be doing to return them to normal life, to reintegrate them into the society, that they can contribute meaningfully to the development and growth of the economy.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take this story. In response to voices and concerns of resolve to withdraw the counter-subversion bill, and which seeks to criminalize subversive activities by association, organization, militias, cults, bandits, and other proscribed groups in Nigeria. The proposed private member bill, sponsored by the Speaker, proposed stiffer punishment for anyone found guilty of various offenses stipulated in the bill, ranging from 2 to 25 years imprisonment, as well as fines ranging from 2 million naira to 15 million. This is extensive consultation with a broad duration of the nation's current
that warrants introduction of that proposal. Understand? Well, it's all about national security. But national security also have to be based on the kind of freedom that is in the country. You see, if that bill, if you did not reconsider it, it means there's going to be too much censorship in the country, that people can be suspected on the basis of suspect for belonging to an association of, and so it is likely to curtail the freedom of the people. What we should be interested in Nigeria is freedom with responsibility. Have we taken enough measures to ensure that for citizens to understand the importance of responsibility, the importance of patriotism, the importance of loyalty to the country? So you cannot want to ensure peace in the country and at the same time be suppressing, because it is likely to suppress the citizens. It's likely to curtail the freedom of the citizens, that freedom of association, freedom of all kind of freedoms are going to be infringed upon if that proposal had sailed through. Understand? So I want to say that the speaker is being responsive, sensitive to the journeys. He has listened to the journey of the people. But the second leg of it now is, what kind of legislation does the National Assembly or the House of Representatives, how do they engage to inspire spirit of patriotism, spirit of loyalty among Nigerians? If that spirit is among Nigerians, what kind of policies at the executive level, at all levels of government are coming to the people, for people to actually begin to trust the government, for people to actually become loyal, for people to actually become patriotic? You understand? So it's a kind of how the country follows the rule of law, how the country observes the tenets of good governance. I assure you, if there is good governance, if there's rule of law in the country, the tendency for sabotage is going to be minimized. So I want to say kudos to the Speaker of the House of Representatives for rethinking on the something, but they should go ahead with things that can generate trust of the citizen in the government at all levels.
All right, and also kudos to the stakeholders who also raised their concerns during the discussion on this piece of legislation. Yeah. Mr. Solanke, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much, sir.
That's part of our own responsibility as good citizens of the country. We must interrogate issues for understanding and appreciation of the issues and concerns in the polity.
Thank you so much. So that's our package today. My guest has been the headlines that we read today. The program returns tomorrow with another edition. My name is Lawrence Moise. Enjoy the rest of your day.